Welcome to another East Trade Winds presentation with Christopher Carter.
Every morning I get up out of bed, I'm very blessed. Several years ago, I had a accident and I've got 2 carbon fiber and titanium discs in my neck. So I thank the good Lord every day that can actually get up out of bed and be able to do what I get to do. And I made a change many years ago and I decided to do things that I am passionate about. I currently do technology and lots of it. I'm sitting in this Mac right here talking to all of you, which is great and wonderful. And then over here, I've got another Mac with 3 screens and an iPad and my phone. And I have been coding and doing work. But it's interesting. We're talking. So Willie's from Scotland, and we've got several Canadians. We've got a American. We've got somebody that's in Hungary. And I look at this and I think everything that crosses borders, there's everybody's smiling. A lot of us have the same haircut, so I'm really happy with that. Thank you. But we're all in tune with technology. We're all in tune with life. We're all in tune with, life is not a bad thing, people. And I tell people all the time, the one thing that wraps me around is my technology, my life, my dreams, my aspirations. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter how old or young you feel, something that every day comes into my life is the technology and the people that I want to associate with. And so for me, on a day-to-day basis, it's a wonderful thing. And literally yesterday, I was getting upset with myself because I was recoding something that I think is going to help and can help any human being that uses AI. I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, I just can't get this. Well, it's amazing what happens when you decompress, walk away, you open up, you maybe have another water or another cup of coffee, and or you go walk the dog. Someone made reference that they walk the dog in the morning. I went and I took the dog outside and I came back and I had a completely different evaluation of what I was doing. And it just seems that too many people don't think about that. They just are hot to blow right away. And I'm sure Willie describes this in some of the things he talks about when he's helping other men out. Because I did pull up your LinkedIn, Willie, and I love what you do. I actually lived next door to a police detective from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was one of the detectives that knew about the Jeffrey Dahmer cases back in the day. So I don't know if you're familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer and all that stuff that happened. And every once in a while, he's got a really different perspective because he thinks in things in a very detective type of way. And I think of things in a very technology type of way. So it's very cool in that regard. And I tell this to my wife and I tell this to staff members and others, not every way is the right way. Not everything you do is right. Now, technology is ones and zeros, and that tends to be but everything in life is not what you think it is. It could be what Wayne thinks it is, or Fran, or Robin. We all have different views, and we come from things in different views. So when I'm building code, or I'm building technology, or I'm building the businesses that I'm working into, I love to have conversations with staff members. Every Monday, I meet with a 23-year-old young staff member. He's a fantastic guy. He's in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Completely different mindset than what I have here in the United States of what happens, how things happen, why things happen, what technologies he uses. And he's not an AI technologist at all. He does SAP and cloud, but he's got a different viewpoint. And I think it's important, at least in my mind, I think it's important. We all come from different backgrounds. And I'm going to make a real quick reference because I know we don't have a lot of time, but I actually only started speaking about this a while ago because I talked with a psychologist for like 3 weeks and just kind of brought it out. And when I was a young man, my parents divorced. And unfortunately, my mother couldn't handle that situation very well as a 25-year-old, I think, 24, 26. I ended up couch surfing with my younger brother and my mother at about 11 different couches around this area of Wisconsin that we lived in. She didn't work. She didn't want to work. She didn't want to do this. She literally didn't care. And I looked back at that and I thought, okay, that's where my journey started. As a young person, nobody should have to couch surf, have to figure out where they're going to eat. Nobody should have to figure out where they're going to sleep, where they're going to get their clothes. I went through 6 different elementary schools all in one season. And it was one of those things that I look back on, and in the pit of me, it was there because I was very bitter and I'd be fast to blow. Once I started having the conversation around that, evaluating life, evaluating what goes on in business, technology, I no longer get upset about a code not working together. I no longer get upset because the dog runs out the door and runs down the block. I no longer get upset at my wife because she she made something that was a little bit too much oniony and I can't stand onions. And I'm saying that just because I think she walked into the laundry room. So, I loved hearing what your organizations did, and I now equate it back to what I do as a technologist. I love building technology companies. I'm looking for Jim. There's Jim. Jim, you're right there. If you need somebody that helps you with technology because you just lost your technology partner, I'd love to talk to you. I've run 3 different technology companies because I love tech. I love helping build. I love watching things build. And at the end of the day, I think it's important that we interact with each other and help each other and grow with each other, because they're going to find me 6 feet deep, dead on my bed before I retire from anything in this world. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm sure going to die with a keyboard in my hand and hopefully my lovely bride next to me telling me she still loves me. So I'll stop there because I know there's Q&A or questions of things and activities, but I'm just so blessed to be here and to be able to have conversations with you. And every one of your LinkedIn's, I've already clicked. I think I have 30 tabs up on top of my Google Chrome right now, which my Google Chrome extension actually approved because it didn't say that it was a bad prompt or anything like that.
Chris, wonderful positive energy. Questions, folks? Do you have questions?
You have basically a group of entrepreneurs here. What AI world or what AI product, what do you find solves the most for the entrepreneur from what you've seen?
That's a great question, Wayne, because in our world as young entrepreneurs and as smaller organizations, there are so many tools that are out there that we can leverage where we don't have to bring in humans necessarily right off the bat. My product is basically a Google Chrome extension that'll make sure that nobody gets hacked from the website on. Let's be honest, there are some stupid human beings out there, and they cut and paste and they upload documents and they take corporate data. Heck, I got somebody, and I tell this when I talk with some folks. I was sitting at a desk with a group of executives, and one of their staff members uploaded a 22 tabbed Excel document of all of the corporate finance, 401k data in their organization up into ChatGPT. And that was the day that I founded Mugatuai AI. And it was one of those things. And he didn't get fired, which was surprising. Nice guy, but just one of those. And literally at that day, I was like, it was a mind blowing moment. But I went out and I used the Google AI suite. I use Gusto because it's AI based. I use QuickBooks Online because it's AI based. I literally use all these different AI based tools. I'm a huge Gemini guy. I know people like ChatGPT, and I think it's fine for the activities that are out there, as long as you get the pro set and you pay them at least the $9.99 a month. Those things help, but it really comes down to us as humans. What are we going to put in there? How are we going to speak to it? How are we going to have a conversation back and forth? If there's anything other than talking about Mugatu AI and technology, when you start using AI, treat it like your best friend. Have a conversation. Ask it to ask you questions so it can learn about what you're looking at, how you're looking to grow, what you're looking to build on. There's a great book, and I don't know this man. I've never got a chance to meet him. His name is Geoff Woods, Geoff Woods. And it's an AI-based book that talks about how to use these tools. I loved it so much, I even gave it to my father. And my father thinks that my books are something that puts him to sleep at night. So it's one of those things that it's asking it to ask you. Have a conversation, just like I'm having one with Wayne right now, answering his question, or with Bernie, or with Willie. And Willie, I love you, man, because that's my brother's name, and I love my brother Willie. So at the end of the day, it's all about a conversation. We as humans, we're blessed. We get to have conversations with other humans, and now with computers. Continue to ask and probe, and have it ask and probe you to, not the Cartman way, but ask and probe in regards to what you're thinking about, what you're wanting to work on, how you're wanting to do things. And you'll find it changes the dynamic. completely. Once I started doing that about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, wow, my conversations with AI, my briefs, my activity completely changed.
Anybody else have a question?
Know me from Hungary.
Yes, actually, I live in Cyprus, but I'm visiting my mom.
Ooh,
So-
jealous. Beautiful area.
Thank you. Chris, thank you for the great presentation and sharing your story so openly and vulnerably. And I think, just a quick question, I think I found the book. Is it the AI-driven leader?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've got 2 of them. One, they're both free. So if you don't have that link, I'll send you the other link to the group. One is the AI starter kit for beginners, and the AI is the AI-driven activity. But that one's Jeff's book. Yes, AI-driven leader.
And so which is your most favorite AI tool? Because you mentioned
Oh.
ChatGPT is okay, but like, what's your favorite? What's your poison?
So and this is, yes, I pay for this. I don't have any sponsorships, nothing. I'm a Google guy. I love Gemini. I love NotebookLM. I use anti-gravity for my coding capabilities simply because I can sit there and I really like it. Now, Google has got the entire Google repository behind it as data, and people will say it's not this, that's not that. For me, I really like Google because they all integrate with each other. So I can build something and talk with it in Gemini. I can move it over to NotebookLM and I can build out videos and I can build out activities. Then I can move stuff into Google Sheets and Google Docs. I can put things on my Google. I get a daily brief every morning at 5 a.m. I get 2 briefs from Google, one from Gemini and one from Spark. And they give me my layout of my day, my activities, who I'm talking with, what I'm talking about, why I need to be a part of that meeting. And then I've got other tools like Bordy Boardman, I've got Victor, I've got others. And I love those because they give me more information. I literally had an hour-long conversation with this tool called Bordy Boardman that literally I created the Y Combinator application, and Wayne knows because Wayne's doing it. It will connect you with over 200,000 people in its network alone and start these conversations just like Bernie's doing with this in this introduction, where we're all interacting with each other and having conversations. And it's great. I've met some wonderful people, plus people who are part of Y Combinator and other events that are fantastic for me on a business side.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are there any other questions? Go ahead, Willie.
Hi, Christopher. Thank you very much for that presentation and thank you for your kind words.
Well, thank you, Willie.
I've reached the ripe old age of 71 years of age, and the computer era kind of passed me by. So I am known as the techno dinosaur, and I kind of play in that nickname, right? So when AI came along, I was a bit bamboozled. However, my lovely marketing guy built me an AI companion. So I have a conversation with it. And Keith will be very interested in this because I asked it to, what would I write a book about? And it came back, I would suggest, what do you think? And I thought, I'm having a conversation with, I'll call it a chatbot, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've come from being an absolute dinosaur to having a conversation with a chatbot, which to me is proof positive that you can teach an old dog new tricks. So thank you very much.
Well, you are awesome, Willie, because you're 3 years younger than my father. And he says the same thing all the time. Oh, I don't even know how to use it. And then I see him on his Apple phone doing stuff and having conversations on it now. It's like, see, and it's not that difficult. It's a fun. There are times when I talk with it and I have fun with it. I will ask it to tell me a joke. Hey, I'm in the mood for a joke. Tell me a joke, or tell me this type of joke, or tell me this. And it's so much fun. They actually do it. I'm glad you're having fun with it, Willie.
Go ahead, Percy.
So thank you, Christopher, for your presentation. You're pulling from a number of AI sources, and I know you're pulling from Google's system. I prefer Claude and Chat, but I've gone on to Codex and the codes, so it's much different. Are you finding that, because one of the challenges with AI is that it likes to appease its master to the point where it will actually spin its answers to be what it thinks you want, and that's not a good thing, because most of us are starting from the wrong premise with the question to what we honestly need. So how are you moving through that particular scenario? And
that's a great question, because I had to yell at it years ago. I told the AI tool, because I've been through events, I've talked with people at different organizations, and I literally will ask it, where did you get this information? How did you come up with this analysis? Why are you coming up with this? It's the old who, what, where, when, why, and how. I actually several times have had to yell at my Gemini in the past, you do not appease me. I want the honest truth on what is going on, why it's going on, what happened, where you got this information. You are never allowed to make it up. And you can do that when you start to talk and start to build. I have that pre-built into my Gemini now. I specifically have it broken down from this must be actual and factual details and information. I must know the source that you're getting that information with, and you cannot appease me in any way, shape, or form. It must be accurate. But as long as, and that right there is the hard part. When we all first start out with these LLMs and we start talking, we start cut and pasting or texting whatever into it, there's ways of going about it. I want you to be an SEO-based leader. I want you to be a certified 20-year accountant. I want you to be this, that, and the other. Well, you've got to be very adamant in telling them, you cannot lie to me. You cannot build the truth. You must tell me the actual truth, even if it's going to hurt my feelings. I'll still love you in the end.
I'm not going to love it at all. But anyone who's ever worked for a boss understands that every time they talk to them, the answers that you're getting from them is coming from the perspective of what's best for them, not for you. And so when you're using AI, it's also the same thing. I've also threatened to send mine off to a gulag in Siberia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the whole idea of the AI leadership from Woods's book is quite interesting. It's well worth anyone going on to YouTube and looking at a couple of his interviews that he's done with a number of people, obviously promoting his book, just to get the rough details of what the book's about before you go and purchase it, because we all have books that are sitting on a shelf that we've never even opened. Make sure you're going to actually read it before you order it. It's well worth the read, though.
I've listened to Geoff Woods' book 5 times already. I just finished about to finish my 6th time on that book. And I feel like every time it changes a little something inside my head about activities.
If I've got the story right, this is a gentleman who left his corporate world about 2 to 3 years ago, and now he's well past the 7 figures and moving to 8. And he's got a very small company, and he only deals with CEOs and C-suite people.
To a degree, yes. He was in the C-suites. You're absolutely correct. He was hired to do one position with an Indian company. He was hired by a company and an executive who was there, who was a global speaker in global activities. And they really forced him to make changes in the way his mindset worked. And then as part of AI and how to adopt AI into their businesses and how their models when he moved companies. And now it's how you change that mindset and use AI. So yes, you're correct, Percy.
And as the holder of 3 AI certifications, you need to remember that you're the final word on whatever comes out of the AI. AI is never going to be responsible for anything. It's your responsibility to make sure the information coming out and going out from your company represents you and represents your company.
That's a great point, Percy. And I'll bring this up only because I just did an event on this in New York. The EU laws came out recently. And so it's one of the things I talk about all the time. It's the human AI infinity loop. The human will always be the first cog in that. So whatever you put into whatever AI, it could be Claude, it could be ChatGPT, it could be whatever. Whatever you put in there, remember, AI is now a part of your organization, and the courts feel that it is also an employee of your organization. So whatever you put in, good, bad, or otherwise, AI creates and works and brings it back to the human. You are the beginning and you are the end of all interactions with that. So if you say you love it, great. If you don't, and you need to manipulate that, you must be engaged with AI as part of the infinity loop, because it will continuously be, unless it becomes autonomous. And those are robots and cars and things. That's not the interactions that we will see. And it probably won't be in my lifetime either. The AI human infinity loop is now a legal activity in the EU as part of the laws that are engaged. And who knows when we'll get them here in the States, but in North America. But over there, it's 10% of your revenue as a fine. Not 10% of your profit. It is a 10% of your revenue can be thrown in as a fine.
We thank you for watching. We meet every Tuesday between 8 and 9 a.m. Eastern. There is no cost and an option to become a speaker too. Find East Trade Wins on LinkedIn.